All right, so when I look ahead here as we close out 2022 and think about, what's the greatest challenge for the industry in 2023, unfortunately, I'll say it is a financial climate that the hospital-based health systems, the provider organizations haven't been in an exceedingly long time. Most are going to report the worst operating performance financially in 2022 than they have if not at least, in the many past years. And so when they're looking forwards into 2023, the focus on belt tightening, the focus on, how can we manage the incredible 40-year high inflationary pressures, both labor, staffing shortages, supplies, is going to, I think, make it all the harder to demonstrate the value that the new service, the product, the device, the medicine is going to bring. And so it dovetails a little bit on the other question, which is the benefit there. And what I think becomes even more important is really figuring out and learning and studying and getting educated on how those decisions are made, how the service or product or medicine is delivering greater value to make that case. It becomes more urgent in 23 because I think the purse strings are just going to be significantly tighter.
And we're seeing that already. We're seeing that we're being asked to use less equipment. We're being asked to use fewer newer items in the clinics themselves. We're prescribing medicines that we could prescribe previously that insurance companies are saying, no, you need to try these 3 other medicines first before we're going to cover this patient, and the patients can't afford to cover the difference in cost. So it's really going to be a challenge, and certainly being able to educate the pharmaceutical industry, the device companies, on really how to communicate effectively, how to bring a message that is steeped in good clinical research and is going to fit into a value-based care system is going to be the big challenge moving forward.
I think as we look over the next year, one big issue is that the effects of COVID and the pandemic are going to linger throughout our industry. I think one thing we know is that life science reps have been marginalized to some extent during the pandemic and shut out from the hospitals, shut out from physicians' offices, and not being able to have the same rapport that they had before. And again, I believe that unfortunately that might get a little better for 2023, but it's not going to go away completely. So I think a priority needs to be to find creative ways to be able to re-engage with those practitioners, to see where you can meet them. Maybe it's outside an office, maybe it's outside of the hospital, maybe it's lunch and learns that you can engage them with. Maybe it's over Zoom, whatever ways, but to continue to be creative, as I think most of us have had to be through the pandemic, with the understanding that probably there's going to be more lingering effects of that as we move through the next year.
I want to thank you for your time and sharing what we might be looking at as we go into 2023 and beyond, frankly. And I think the question for all of us is, what do we do with this information? How do we codify it and make it trainable that we can go and take it to our commercial leaders and work a solid plan as we face these challenges for the foreseeable future?